Hello, welcome back to this little vlog series that I've been doing of my trip to Venice. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lillian. I usually talk about books and writing and creativity, but this is going to be a video about the writing trip that I took myself on to Venice, or part 2 of it at least. If you haven't seen the first part, I will link it somewhere up in the cards, wherever that is. So feel free to go ahead and watch that. That documents the first couple days that I was in Venice, and I am on the second half of my trip. I have three more days here, and today I'll be taking a day trip to the islands of Murano and Burano. So I want to take you along with me for that, show you what I'm getting up to, and talk about a few other things throughout the vlog as well. So I need to get going here. I need to go to the meetup point for this day trip. It was a ticket that I booked, and the meetup spot is pretty close to Piazza San Marco, so I need to start walking there. That's what I'll be getting up to today, and of course I'll take you along with me and show you what I'm getting up to. Hello, I have made it back to my Airbnb for the night. I've settled in, taken another hot bath, and got my PJs on, and have been doing some writing, some chilling, and some planning for activities that I'm going to get up to tomorrow. Let's see, tomorrow is my last full day in Venice, and then Wednesday I have to check out of my Airbnb at 11 a.m. and then basically head on out for the airport. I have to catch a water taxi to the airport. So as you previously saw, today I did a day trip to some of the auxiliary islands around Venice. 3 of them: Murano, Burano, and Tercello. So I had pre-booked this tour ticket thinking that it would just be small or medium-sized group going, but it ended up being a massive group. There were 2 huge ferry boats that every seat was filled, and initially after the first stop in Murano I was kind of regretting booking this specific tour just because it did feel a bit like a tourist conveyor belt, especially in Murano. We had definitely a limited amount of time at each of the islands, but Murano we had about an hour where they dropped us off, shuffled us into a big room for a glass making demonstration, and then shuffled us right on through to basically a giant gift store with, beautiful pieces of Murano glass in all different shapes, formats. I kind of wished that, I had a bit more time to actually walk around and explore. But once we landed on Burano, things started to pick up a bit. We had a little bit more time. I think it was an hour and a half in Burano. And I had really wanted to visit Burano because of their lace making tradition and their lace making museum that they have on the island. The island has a long history of handmade lace, which is very unfortunately a dying art. It's only, a much older generation that still practices the very labor-intensive art of creating handmade lace. Come to find out, the museum is closed on Mondays. So that was a bit of heartbreak, but after realizing that, I ended up turning around and finding it was a beautiful, I guess, lace shop you would call it. It had, lace in many different forms, from tablecloths, table runners, shawls, personal bags, handkerchiefs, that kind of a thing. I got a small clip that I will insert here. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to film in there, and ended up having a really wonderful, warm moment of connection with, I believe she was the shop owner, of just connecting over how beautiful the lace was and just admiring the craft and the art of it. It was one of those conversations where you have two people whose main language is different, but they know enough of each other's language to sort of muddle your way through. There was a lot of gesticulating and head nods, but it just felt like this really wonderful little exchange that I had with this woman. And I think I was delighted to find some of the things that I did. I was delighted to get to talk to her about it and let her know everything here is beautiful. I'm very glad that I at least get to see this, even if the museum is closed. And I could definitely tell that she appreciated the fact that I appreciated, the things that she was selling, but also just the tradition of the island. And it was just a really lovely moment. I'd say, up until that point, I'd been kind of iffy on whether I should have booked this day trip, but I think that moment of connection definitely made the entire day worthwhile. And the rest of the day ended up being lovely. Went and got a little bit of a snack and a glass of wine and an espresso at a cafe nearby. That was delicious. And then I realized, oh shoot, the boat is going to be leaving in about 5 minutes. So I ran and paid the check and hurried my butt back to the ferry boat and was the last person on before they closed the gates. So barely made it back onto the boat. And the final island I hadn't heard of, hadn't planned to visit, but it was on the itinerary. Was not expecting to love it as much as I did. It's apparently the first location of the group that would eventually become the Venetians, where they first settled in the area of the lagoon. And there is a very old Byzantine church still on the island. It is not nearly as developed as any of the other islands that we visited. There really is only one main road coming in and out, and there are a few hotels, little taverns and inns, but it's mainly an archaeological site. They have some of the things on display that have been unearthed. The island itself is gorgeous. It almost feels like you're walking through a small town in rural Italy, but it was just this wonderful space that felt still wild to some degree. And I really enjoyed visiting that island, and hopefully if I ever end up coming back to Venice in the future, I would love to spend more time on all of those islands, but also especially the last one that we visited. Yeah, it ended up being a lovely day. The meetup and drop-off space was right next to Piazza San Marco. As I was making my way back, I popped into a couple shops that I saw along the way that I thought would have some good things to bring home as gifts for people. A few things that I got for myself as well. I haven't unwrapped anything, but I think tomorrow I'll show you some of the things that I got, mainly for myself because I want to keep, the things I got as gifts secret. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for the night. I will see you in the morning. And I also definitely want to give you a little tour of this Airbnb, which has been absolutely wonderful. The space is incredible. The neighborhood has been amazing. I will definitely be sad to leave this space. It has been a little home away from home on this trip, and has definitely been a great place to rest and recover after a long day of adventuring around the city. So, and yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night here and head off to bed so I can get up early-ish tomorrow to make the most of the last full day that I have here. So I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so starting off for this little Airbnb tour, this is the front door. Up some steps here. I'm on the second floor of a 2-story building, and so had 2 flights of stairs to come up with my suitcase that were kind of narrow and winding, which was not fun, but was managed. And so you come up here, and there's a little closet here for your shoes and other things. Got a coat rack where I've been keeping my coat and the tote bags that I brought. And then over here we have the kitchen. We've got some of the leftover food up there, a little fridge, microwave, teapot that has been getting a lot of use. Have a sink over here. Excuse the paper bags that I have on the counter here. That is trash that I need to take out tomorrow morning. This Airbnb definitely came equipped with anything you would want to cook a meal here, which I'm very grateful for. Also very grateful that it came with a tea kettle, specifically. So that is the kitchen, and then right across the way here, I will very quickly show you the bathroom, mainly for this glorious tub that has been incredibly useful on this trip for long hot soaks after many hours on my feet walking around. So that is the bathroom. And then there are 2 standing closets right outside the bathroom. One of them is an owner's closet, and the other one is where I've been hanging my clothes. There have been hangers in there, which has been lovely. And then down below you have a bunch of drawers to store stuff in as well. All right, and then we come into the main living area here. We have this gorgeous living room and dining table. And the stairs go up to the loft where the bedroom is. This couch has definitely been wonderful for curling up on when I get back from a long day, reading a book, doing some writing. That's my suitcase back there. There's these beautiful trunks. And then the view outside this window is a little courtyard with entrances to some other apartments. On the wall here, I don't know if you can see with the glare, but there is this really cool older piece of stone, likely from another building. It looks like it's hung on the wall, but with the Venetian lion on it, which I think is just really cool. There is, of course, this gorgeous array of books on the shelf here. Most of them are in Italian, but there have been a couple of really cool art books that I have flipped through. And there's also a really lovely jazz collection that I have been listening to in the evenings on the CD player. Over here we have some more puppets on the wall and this neat little desk area where I have my makeup laid out at the moment, and I've been doing my makeup here in the mornings as well as some morning journaling. The view outside this window is just down to the street, but we have 2 more puppets up here, and then we have another bookshelf that runs across here. 2 chairs here that I've mainly just been storing things on as I've gotten ready in the morning. And then over here we have another bookcase with believed to be childhood photos of the owner. And then these are the stairs that go up to the lofted bedroom area. These gorgeous old wood beams that run throughout this entire place that are beautiful. Okay, and then once you are up here, there's 2 sections. There's this lovely meditation spot in this alcove over here. Have a window up here, which the camera doesn't want to focus on. But bringing the camera back down here, maybe it'll focus. There we go. There is a bench that runs along this side with the 2 pillows, and the actual bed is right up here. And it has been really, really cool to sleep up here. But it's been very, very cozy sleeping up here. It feels like you are in a ship in a sense. And again, these beautiful old beams up over the bed over here and then on the other side as well. So I wanted to do, I guess, a quick little haul of some of the things that I've picked up while I've been here, but I thought I would share some of the things that I've collected for myself. The first place that I picked some things up is the Aqua Alta bookstore, which is a really cool bookstore. It is also a tourist spot, so I would recommend maybe going a little bit earlier in the morning if you want to skip the crowds. There is an entire gondola in the middle of the bookstore full of books. Majority of the books are in Italian, but they do have a number of stationery things available in prints, which is what I picked up when I was there. So the first one is this lovely notebook with an old opera poster on it. I saw a couple prints of this and really liked it, but knew that I would get a lot more use out of a notebook like this. So I picked this up along with this other book with the name of the bookstore on it and a cool design. And then I also ended up picking quite a few postcards and prints, which I will show you quickly here. Got a number. They had a cool series of older photos of Venice on postcards that I thought were really cool. And then here is a postcard of the actual inside of the bookstore with the gondola and their 2 resident cats. Next, there's a very cute postcard with a cat dressed up like a Venetian. And then the last postcard that I got is this one, which is a really cool illustration. I've spotted a number of these. I don't know what you would call them, but sort of the architectural terrace. Struggling for words here, but like this kind of exterior to a building that is either part of a walkway or windows, and I thought it's gorgeous, so I wanted to get a postcard with it illustrated. And then this was a bookmark that they threw in my bag. It is a replica of some of the signs that you'll see that point to Piazza San Marco. The next place that I picked things up at, I'm blanking on the name at the moment, I will put it on the screen over there, but it was a very beautiful stationery store, and I was chatting with the owner, and it's been his family's business there for 40 years. They hand make all of their notebooks. So they had a wide selection of really gorgeous handmade notebooks and stationery items. So the 2 notebooks that I picked up, this one, I mean, come on. This is gorgeous, and it feels very sturdy and well made. There's a bookmark down the middle, and the pages are lined, but you also had the option to have unlined pages as well. And then the other notebook that I picked up is this really gorgeous one that I'm very excited to use. And then I also picked up 2 bottles of ink. One is this gorgeous deep purple and the other is this beautiful emerald green, which the owner was commenting that the deep green is apparently a very traditional Venetian color. Planning to use these in my fountain pen. And then the last thing that I got at that stationery store is this wax tablet for sealing wax in this gorgeous dark red, which is actually very similar to my lipstick today. And then finally, I will show you the items that I picked up on the island of Burano. So the first thing that I got is not lace, but it's this beautiful embroidered drawstring bag that I thought was just lovely, and I thought I could make a use out of as like a little purse to carry with me sometimes, or as a beautiful thing to store things in. I had a really lovely conversation with the shop owner about the lace and some of the lace things that she had there, and I was looking at this handkerchief in particular. It has an L on it, and I was looking at this thinking that I wanted to take this as a memorabilia back with me, and it reminds me of a handkerchief of my great-grandmother's that I have, and the L looks very similar, but it is embroidered in red thread as opposed to made out of lace. And she also pulled out some of the authentic Burano lace that she sells, and there was another handkerchief that had the authentic lace on it, and I couldn't choose between the two, and I kind of wanted both, so I got both. But this is the one that has the authentic lace on it, and it has a little certificate of authenticity with it. But I'll insert some close-up shots in the sunlight of this lace, because I don't know if this angle is doing it justice, but it's gorgeous. And just knowing how much time and care and knowledge goes into making the lace, I really wanted to bring a piece of it back with me. So those are the things that I have picked up for myself so far. I think I'm going to head on out here and get on with my day, but I'll talk to you again when I get back. And now it actually seems to have stopped raining, which is great news for me. All right, hello. Decisions have been made. I've spent some time doing some research and figuring out my course of action tomorrow to get back to the airport, and it turns out I will have to go to the actual physical ticket office near the Rialto Bridge to purchase a ticket to pick me up from my local water taxi station, as opposed to having to traipse all the way to the train station, which I would rather not do with a large suitcase. So I need to go out and head to the ticket office. I also really wanted to go and visit the Palazzo Contorni del Bovolo, I think is how you say it. It's a really cool 15th century stone spiral tower that I have really wanted to see and just have not had the chance. It hasn't been the areas that I've sort of been to and from when I'm here, so I think I'm gonna try and visit there. So I think that is the plan. And I was initially procrastinating leaving just a little bit because, if I'm honest, I'm really tired. Just the time change has had way more of an effect than I realized that it would, or at least it's having more of an effect on me as a 28-year-old woman than it did when I was a teenager or early 20s. That was something I didn't account for, so I haven't been sleeping at my normal circadian rhythm, but also I haven't been sleeping for long periods of time. So there's that, but I've also just been doing a lot of walking and exploring, and that has been great, but I'm just physically also tired. And I was putting off leaving because I was like, oh, it's gonna be a really long walk and I'm probably gonna get lost and it's raining and chilly. I had the brilliant genius thought of actually using one of the public transportation water taxis that are available in Venice. I just haven't used them yet because I wanted to wander, I wanted to explore. So I'm gonna go walk to the nearest one to me, which is I think near the Venice Casino. And it might take the same amount of time, but I will not be walking for nearly as long. So big brain energy there. So I'm gonna go head out now, finally, and first off go to the ticket office, get that taken care of, and then make my way over to the Palazzo Contorni. So it's my final morning here in Venice and I'm packing up to head to the airport, but I'm going to head out to get rid of my trash and grab a few last minute things. But a little update from yesterday. I was able to get the ticket for the water taxi to the airport, thankfully, but could not find the stone tower that I was looking for. Google Maps did me so dirty. Even one of the tour guides at the beginning of my trip warned us to not use Google Maps when we're in the city because it is a labyrinth, and Google Maps really struggles with actually finding out where you are. Yeah, it led me on a wild goose chase and ended up getting, I think, the most lost I have been in this city. Which on the one hand, disappointing that I didn't get to end up seeing the place that I wanted to. But on the other hand, I got to see some new parts of the city that I hadn't yet. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to take that one with a grain of salt. I don't know if this is where I'll end the vlog, technically speaking. I might do, you know, some B-roll clips and some voiceover footage or something to sort of close out the video, but actually, yeah, I think I'll do that. Let's do that. Early morning brain Lillian does not have anything poetic or profound to say about her current situation or the trip in general. Here are some closing thoughts I jotted down on my water taxi ride to the airport. In so many words, I feel like this trip was a transformation for how I see myself and how I imagine what's possible for me to achieve. That I can step into this role of writer that I've been dreaming of, but never had enough faith that I could fulfill it. Venice has turned a mirror on me and brought me face to face with this part of me that I've never fully allowed myself to acknowledge. The canal streets and back alleyways have spiraled me closer to a sense of myself and of my purpose. Venice is a place out of time, a world in and of itself, a city built on a stolen forest, etched into marble, with the waves of the lagoon perpetually eating away at its stones. For all her beauty, Venice is a place hopelessly awash with memory, the generations that built her to what she is, what she was, and what she will be. The beauty, in part, I think, comes from Venice's improbability, an island built on wooden stakes in the middle of a lagoon that has managed to stand for over 1,000 years. A life that seems impossible has been lived here over and over again, in spite of everything. And so this trip has taught me to write in spite of everything, to hope, to dream, to live in the face of all that tells me not to. Venice has helped me realize that making time to chase beauty and inspiration is a conduit to being able to make my dreams a reality. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you enjoyed these little snapshots of my trip. If you want to hear more about my adventures in Venice, I'll be putting out some posts over on my Substack in the coming weeks. The link for that will be in the description. And with that, I hope you're doing well, and I'll be excited to see you in my next video. Bye.